Dick coming to you from Saskatchewan here today, and holy moly has Quick Dick been falling behind on productions here because we've been so busy with harvest. But don't worry, it doesn't mean that I have forgotten about all the certified little quicks that are along for this ride to learn about how we grow oats here in Saskatchewan. Now, in case you're just joining us, here's the first installment of this series that I'm doing on oats called Sow Your Seed. If you missed that, you can go there and check it out and then come back to this one, or you can just stay here and keep watching this one. Do whatever you want. Okay, so once our oats are planted, we gotta depend on Mother Nature a little bit, and we're gonna go through a few stages in our oats as they start to grow. The first one, of course, is germination, where the seed takes up moisture in the soil and starts to grow. Then it moves into its next phase, which is tillering and leaf development. And if you look close at the end of our last video, we were already there. See? Well, would you look at that? They're popping already. This is a very important stage in our crop where we start watching it very closely because we are going to eventually need to spray our crop. And a lot of people don't understand just how important of a tool our sprayer is here on the farm. So I will be asking the help of a future agronomist on this video. Emery, would you tell the lovely people what your role is here at the Barra Ranch?
I am the owner's daughter.
Okay, and would you think it was a smart idea for somebody to have some smart aleck comments about you down in the comment section?
No.
Well, why not?
Because you and my dad are not very nice when provoked by smart aleck comments.
That's right. So keep your opinions to yourself on Emery. She's here to help. Thank you very much. So Emery, can you tell the folks why we spray our crop?
We spray so our crops don't get taken over by weeds.
Correct. See, the goal of farming is to get maximum productivity out of the land that we're using to farm, so we need to manage our weeds. If we let the weeds grow, they steal nutrients and moisture that our crop would otherwise use. Wouldn't it be silly to use fertilizer to grow oats and then let the weeds have at the crop and the fertilizer? It doesn't make any sense. So at this early stage of the crop, Emery, what would we use to control the weeds?
We spray herbicide on oats.
Okay, and what kind of weeds do herbicides control?
Herbicides keep away plants such as kochia and wild buckwheat.
Bingo. Herbicides protect our crops from weeds. Now, an easier way to think about it is think of your backyard. Now, if dandelions start growing, dandelions can almost take over, and before you know it, you've got a yellow backyard full of weeds and there's no grass left anymore. It's the same theory of what we use with our crops. Now, what happens if those dandelions in your backyard go to seed and then blow over to the neighbor's place? Well, then before you know it, your neighbor's got a dandelion problem too. So we look after our crops, and by looking after our crops, we're looking after our neighbor crops as well. So that's why we watch close when it's in early developmental stages like you see here. We don't want the crop to compete with weeds, so we'll go out and we'll apply a herbicide. So, Emery, is it just herbicides that we spray on our crop?
When the crop is small, we spray herbicides, and when the crop gets a little bit bigger, we spray fungicides.
Fungicide. Now, the easiest way that I can think of to explain this to you is think of athlete's foot. Has everybody heard of that? It's a gross fungus that can start growing on your feet if your feet spend too much time in a damp, gross, sweaty environment. What do we do to fix athlete's foot? We spray an antifungal treatment on it. So same kind of thing with our crops. If they start showing signs of a fungus or some kind of a disease, then we use our sprayer to apply fungicide. Emery, when do we apply fungicide?
We spray fungicides when the crop is between 3 leaves and flight leaf.
Very good. Now, let's talk about one more kind of spray. Now, another kind of spray that we use is something called pesticides, but thankfully we didn't have to use any this year. Pesticides are used to kill bugs that are trying to kill or hurt our crops, things like aphids or maybe grasshoppers. Now, pesticides are just kind of like how we treat ourselves. Let's say we have mosquitoes or flies that are coming to bite us and hurt us. Well, we'll use spray to keep them away, right? Or maybe we have a wasp or a hornet problem. We'll use a spray to kill them so they don't cause us any harm. Well, why would we treat our crops any different? We need to protect our crops so they can grow big and strong so we have enough yield from them. Now, do we just spray our crops no matter what?
No.
Why not?
Because that costs us a lot of money, and we don't believe in wasting produce when the crop doesn't need it.
That's exactly right. We only give the crops just as much as they need and nothing more, because they don't need it, and that's just us spending money for no reason. So enough of this technical talk. Why don't we go see some of the stuff that we use to spray? And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the water truck. And can you guess who the water truck is? Hey, Blue Ball. So we bring old Blue Ball out to the dugout here. Got a couple of hoses going down in the dugout there. They're going to come up and do a couple of little centrifugal pumps right here. come out of this hose. We're gonna load the tanks on the trailer with just straight up dugout water. Then we're gonna use the water truck to go load up the sprayer. Now the whole sprayer assembly might look intimidating, like there's lots to it, but it's really pretty simple once you get into it. So why don't we have a, oh, hey Blue Ball, why don't we have a look at how it works? We're gonna start off with our sprayer trailer. You can see there's 4 tanks on the sprayer trailer. Each tank has got a valve on it, and it runs down through a hose that's tied into another tank, and then it comes over here into the suction of our pump. Now there's just a little gas-driven pump, and there's a set of impellers in here that spins really fast. So it takes your water in here, spins it up into this hose here, which goes down and out and over into our chem handler. So into the top of our chem handler is where we add our chemical, and then from the chem handler, it sucks it out and runs it down this hose all the way down here up to the sprayer. Then we'll open this valve, and it comes underneath, follows right through here, up right here into the bottom of the spray tank. And once it comes up into our spray tank, there's a thing called an agitator, which is basically what helps us mix the water with the chemical. And there's a little gauge right on the side of here with a float in it that lets us know how full our spray tank is. And right at the top here, there's a vent. Simple, hey? Tanks, the pump, the chem handler, down into the sprayer, up into the tank. Then when we go to spray it onto the oats, we're gonna change direction. We wanna suck our chemical out of our tank. We're gonna follow that down along here, over to the pump. The pump sucks the chemical in and sprays it out through this hose right here. And you follow this hose all the way down and out to the back. So here we are at the back. Hose comes out here through a filter, down through a valve, and then out to here with a bunch of different selection valves on this manifold at the back of the sprayer. Then your chemical gets pushed evenly out to different sections that come all the way out to the end of each boom, where they come down to these little nozzles right here. And depending on what rate you want to spray your crop at, you have different gallons per minute on each nozzle, and you can just turn it to select which one that you want. See? Now the even cooler thing is there's these little guys right here, which are valves. What they do is there's one there, and they're all along the boom and up in the back here. And they help us control from the cab which sections of the boom are on and off. Because if we're going over an area that we've already sprayed, we don't want to spray it twice. So we can just shut that section off. You want to see it in action? I'm sure you do. Well, would you look at those oats getting big and healthy and nutritious? So herbicides for weeds, right? Fungicide is for disease, and pesticides are for bugs that are gonna come and try and destroy our crop. Chemistry is a very important part of agriculture. These aren't things that we can go out and take care of by hand. It's not like our garden in the backyard. We've got a lot of acres that we need to cover in a short period of time. That's why this is so important. Kind of an important thing to remember about some of the pesticides and herbicides that we use. Everybody thinks that we're just spraying straight chemical out onto the field, which is actually not what's happening. This is typical sizes that some of these chemicals come in, and then we mix them down with quite a bit of water. So when you see spray coming out of a sprayer, most of it's water, tiny little bit of it's chemical. let's have a look at a few places where weeds have become a problem. Now look at this fella here. There's peas in here somewhere, but it looks like a whole bunch of other weeds have completely taken over here, right? So we can have farmland that either looks like this, or we can have farmland that looks like this. I don't know about you, my friends, but this looks like a pretty safe and healthy place to get our food from. Oh, that sure was fun. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with your old buddy Quick Dick. Next time, we're gonna be harvesting our oats. It's gonna be super fun. And until then, this is Quick Dick signing off, reminding you, a great big field with a little bit of spray can help our food go a long, long way. We'll catch you next time. It's not just me that's involved in these videos. Thank you, ladies.